Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to successfully make a design for Spreadshirt, something that you would upload. These are going to be vectors designs. I'm not going to go into the raster designs because I don't know, I really prefer the vector style and how they're produced. So I'm just going to give you some tips. Sometimes it's confusing to someone just starting out as a designer to know, you have your design. Now, what do I got to do to make sure it's going to print good and you're going to get a good product? So right now I have fired up is Illustrator, and I have a little robot design I did. So one of the first things you need to know is your print size area. So by standard, in this template, I'm going to supply this template too, is I just have an 11-inch document here. I would suggest doing that. The actual safety area is a little bit bigger than that, but the system allows you to take, but I do it under because if it's about the same size, sometimes it kicks back and it'll get rejected. So I try to stick a little bit under. But I'll give you a little bit more information about the print areas. I'm going to open up the website here. If you go to Spreadshirts, and if you actually click on product assortment, it will take you to a page, and this lists out all the different products that we offer. And it has some information in here actually about the print areas. So let's say you want to design something for a hat. And once you open that up, you'll see a print size. The front, the left, the right, it gives you the inches. Like this one's 2.8 inches by 1.3, and that'll go on the right size. So when you set up your document, if you want to make sure your design is going to work on a specific product, then I suggest you design it to that product. So when you set up your document, I would suggest setting it up for underneath 2.8 inches. If you're pretty close to that, it may kick it back, so I'd go a little bit smaller, maybe like a 2.5 by 1 inch. So that's a little bit of information that a lot of people don't know, is I always design it towards the product of what it's going to go on. So let's minimize that and take a look. Okay, so now I have this design here, and it's done in Illustrator. It's all created. So now you want to double check to make sure it's going to work for Spreadshirt. And once you know this, you should probably develop your design towards that. I wouldn't go back and change it at the very end. So on this little template here I've created a gauge, and that gauge is 0.06 by 0.06, and it's just a little circle. And actually I'll probably just zoom into it so you can see it. Let's zoom back out and zoom back a little bit more. So why is this 0.06? Well, because how it's cut out, it's used a plotting machine, and so basically it cuts it out of the vinyl. And so since those plotting machines can only go a certain size, that 0.06 basically makes sure that it fits in what it's capable of doing. Another thing also I have here on the template is the current flex and the flock colors. I put a date on there. You might want to keep yours up to date, but those are basically all the colors that your design can be. With Spreadshirt, you get a maximum of 3 colors. So I suggest it's going to be more expensive the more colors you add. I always go with as much as I can 1 or 2 color designs. The flex, which is like your vinyl, it's the more of the plastic looking design product. Our flock is it's kind of textured. It's almost like felt. When you feel it, it's really soft and puffy. So there's actually a limited amount of color with the flock. It's usually a little bit less than the flex, and they're always changing. So you got to constantly keep looking and see what we offer. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use this gauge. When you do your design, anytime that you have 2 pieces, especially colors, that are in it, you want to make sure that there is at least a 0.06 all around the design. So let's say this red eye, we want to make sure that before it hits that next red color, that there is that much size in there. The same with all these other ones. Because basically what it does is when it plots, it's going to cut out of like a giant sheet of vinyl. plastic, whatever you want to call it. And so you want to make sure that it has enough room to go around and cut through there. So the idea is to take this and make sure that at any part of it, the biggest or one of the smallest parts is 0.06, and that there's a 0.06 in between its next little element. So if you look, I'm just kind of going around. I usually go around the entire design and make sure that it does it. Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay, so it looks like we're safe with this one. Looks like we abide by it all. When you do text, you want to also do the same thing. You want to make sure that's a big part of it. There's actually, you can probably go a little bit smaller than 0.06, but I just suggest going with that. It's a good size, and it never fails that it'll work. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is that usually when you do your designs, a lot of times you'll build them on layers. So this gray area will actually be beneath this red area. With our plotter, ours in the US, what we like to do is we want it to be cut out. So actually, this one is more of a finished design. I already did some of the things I'm going to show you, but if you take and you would disappear that top layer, how I did it, it's now cut out. So I'm actually going to show you how you can do that. Once you have your design completely finished, it's by all of your standards. Whoops. What I suggest doing is you just draw your marquee around it. You select your whole design, and you go down in here, your modes, and you do. Actually, you know what? I'm jumping a step. I'm not sure if I can show you this since it's off the recording screen. But if you go up to your objects and you do flatten transparency, you click that, it's going to bring up this screen. And this is actually going to flatten your entire transparency and get rid of all of your outlines and everything, and so they're flattened. So go into your vectors, bump that up to 100, and come back down here and re-click convert all text to outlines. So once you click that, ching. Okay, after that, the next step is go to your Pathfinder and merge. And basically, that's going to flatten everything down into one object. So now that when you click this, you're one object. And then actually when you do that, it's actually like cookie cuttered out. And then some of the finishing steps you can do is if you go back up to objects, sorry you can't see this, and then you go to paths and you click cleanup and do that, then it's going to actually clean up all those stray points. If there's anything in there that would mess up the plotter, it gets rid of those. And another thing you can do, even if you want to clean it up even more, you can go into simplify and adjust it, but sometimes it distorts your design, so you got to really make sure that it doesn't. Okay, so now your image is set up for something that's acceptable at Spreadshirt when you go through your upload process. The last thing you would do is you would just save it as an EPS, so when you go to upload it. I'm also going to supply this document, which you can find on the website, and this is a step-by-step on how to do some of those ending steps. Really what was useful, I think, in this one was just showing you the gauge and to making sure that you know that this gauge and those elements need to be that far apart, and it's just a good way to double check to make sure your design does not get rejected. And like I said, when you upload it, the easiest way is to make sure you have only 3 colors in there, and it helps if you use the close to exactly what's on the website, just so that when your graphics represented online, it's close to what people can actually get. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll leave my email address on there too if anyone gets a hold of me and ask more questions.